You are now listening to the Where's the Line podcast with Joseph West and Britt Dillard. Enjoy the show.
Milton gonna take a shot wide open and just strutting in is Keaton. Joe Milton does it again.
Borgie again on a blitz. Levis pocket collapses. He's on the run. He just heaves it up. And it's intercepted by Vanderbilt. And let the celebration begin. The streak is over at 26. The Commodores win it.
Talk about Vanderbilt football. All I gotta say, and you're going to hell. Bye.
Another edition of Where's the Line? It is Wednesday, May 1st. This is episode number 124. My name is Britt. I'm joined here by my good friend Joseph West. How are you today, brother?
Brother, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Wednesday evening, almost. Had some great weather this week. I'm doing well, Britt. How are you?
Doing great, yeah. It's a beautiful day today. Very blessed to be alive, and it's good to hear your voice as always.
That's right. We made it to May. We are somehow in the 5th month of this year. That's insane. I'm old head. Time is flying by.
Yeah, we're talking about the weather.
Yep.
We're talking about can you believe it's May already?
Yep.
So those are the two main topics, yeah.
Next is going to be these new generation of guys. They're never going to be the guys that we watched growing up. They're never going to be as good as Tom Brady. They're never going to be as good as LeBron James. Like, Luka's good, but he's no LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Mahomes is good. He's no Tom Brady. Like, it's time to turn into an old head.
Yeah, there is something about just like saying, like, I experienced something and what you think is awesome, it don't even compare to what I experienced.
I mean, yes.
Old people like to make us feel like invalidated.
Well, I will say this. Let me go old person right now and say you may have had a fun trip to a football game, but you haven't had a trip to a football game like me and Brett did to Michigan. I'll say that. Because, I mean, we just you can't have more fun than we had. It's impossible.
I view it more as like a lesson learning opportunity.
I mean, yeah. Well, no, not to say that we made every decision correct, Britt. I'm just saying that we still had fun. Like that, I look back and like, man, I probably had multiple, like it's not even one or two too many. It was several too many drinks that day. I look back, not proud of the headspace that I was in at the time, but I just remember all day until the part of the day that where you get to a headspace where you don't quite remember well. Until that part of the day, I had a blast. So that's where we'll leave that at.
Yeah. We've had a ton of stuff happen since our last recording. Me personally, I've had a ton of stuff happen. I gained a brother-in-law. Shout out to my little sister for getting married. So that's awesome. I purchased a house.
That is true.
Which is crazy. I've had a lot of stuff going on, and then sports-wise, I mean, we've had the NFL draft, we've had basketball transfers, baseball games.
Yep, tons of stuff.
A lot of stuff. So let's jump into it. What do you want to start with? Just the draft?
Let's go draft first. Draft is so much fun. The draft is like comes in that part of the year where you're like, man, I miss football. It just comes in that perfect time. Comes in here, saves the day. Overall, I thought the draft was pretty as expected for me. What I actually thought, I learned 3 years ago, I think it was, that I was never going to let a mock draft tell me where people were going to go again because they don't actually know. But anyways, the Titans, starting off with the Titans here, Titans got a lot of hate for their draft picks in the first and second round, getting Sweat from Texas and J.C. Latham from Alabama in the first round, and then Sweat was in the second round. Getting both of those guys. Talking about both of them, J.C. Latham is a dog. J.C. Latham was a beast. He's amazing. He was easily the second best lineman in this draft, and it wasn't even close. He was clear cut too. The only reason that Tennessee fans feel bad about that, about getting J.C. Latham, is because you looked over and saw what people think Joe Alt's going to be, an Hall of Famer on an offensive line, and it wasn't him. And that's the only reason you're upset. Latham's going to play left tackle. He's with the best offensive line coach in the NFL. It's a great pick. I love J.C. Latham. I think J.C. Latham's going to be great. I love this pick for the Titans.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. You knew that you needed an offensive lineman, and the Titans have made steps in free agency and on the trade block to improve their offensive line, but you still needed to go O-line. I think the only reason I would be upset with this is I guess the way I should word it is, I wouldn't have been mad if Marvin Harrison was still there and they picked him. But he wasn't there, and Malik Neighbors, as many people tried to say that he was like 1A, 1B with Marvin Harrison Jr., but I don't necessarily see it that way.
If Malik Neighbors is there, I'm not shocked to see the Titans draft him, honestly. Just with D-Hop only having a year left. And if they did draft Neighbors, you would hear me saying the same thing. I would say it's a great pick. You got him at number 7. But Neighbors and Alt go the 2 picks before you. You take J.C. Latham. He's the clear-cut number 2. Good pick. In round number 2, you get Sweat from Texas. People don't like this pick. Sweat got a DUI 3 weeks before the NFL Combine.
Let's go.
Sweat also has a ton of attitude problems. He's had a lot of problem with coaches. I get why you don't like this pick. However, here's the common denominator for me. You have a guy who had the almost, minus the DUI, had the exact same thing said about him from Mississippi State. The exact same things got said about him a couple years ago. That dude, his name is Jeffrey Simmons. He's a freaking beast. Sweat from Texas, he's never been big dog before. He's always been the biggest dude in the locker room. He ain't anymore. If there's somebody who can put him in his place that's been there and done that, you've got the guy right beside him.
That's
He's
true.
the leader on your defense. I love this pick too. This is a high risk, high reward. Him and Jeffrey Simmons in the middle next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, on a rookie contract for him and Simmons right beside him. Are you kidding me? That could be dirty. Titans, good draft. I love the Titans draft.
Okay. I've not seen many people say that, and I shouldn't have said let's go when you said he had just got a DUI. That's not something to celebrate at all.
Britt just goes, okay, come on, I'm excited.
But no, I mean the Titans, once you get past the first round, I'm the type of fan that like I'm not gonna get too far into it. And the first round, I think people were just disappointed because it wasn't the guy that you've heard you're gonna get all off season. Like when you pick an offensive lineman, it's not gonna be glamorous. Like Joe Alt is not. I mean, it's a very solid, great draft pick, but it's not Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not Caleb Williams. So I think that was the case there. But Tennessee had some guys drafted. Three, I believe. Jalen Wright, Joe Milton, Kamal Haddon, I think. And speaking about Joe Milton, I was going to ask you this, and then we'll obviously going to talk about the Raiders. The most surprising pick of the draft, I think everyone would say, was Atlanta taking Michael Penix Jr. Having just signed Kirk Cousins. What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't want the Raiders to take Michael Penix Jr. at 13. I wouldn't have touched Michael Penix Jr. with a 10-foot pole if I was a top 25 pick. Me personally, I don't think he doesn't have the upside that he's young and he can learn. He doesn't have the upside of, well, he's never been hurt. He's mobile, but how many hits can he take in the NFL? Listen, kids in college, they hit hard, but dudes in the NFL, don't get me wrong, they're starting to touch the game up where maybe they can't even hit hard anymore, but holy crap, they hit. So you better be prepared. Michael Penix, I just don't know if he can stay healthy. I didn't like this pick at all. Kirk Cousins is already there. You're already paying him $130 million guaranteed. I get it. Kirk hasn't always performed. Maybe you're bringing him in. Atlanta says they feel good about their defense. I guess you feel good about your offense. I mean, you better. You just took Michael Penix Jr. You didn't take a receiver. I mean, you've got Kyle Pitts, you've got Drake London, you've got Bijan Robinson. I get it. They've got weapons on offense. So I could understand where the GM was coming from. If this is a different quarterback, if this is Drake May there, where you have a super high ceiling, I get it. I don't think you have that with Penix. If I'm a Falcons fan, I hate this pick.
Yeah, and where my thought process was, and the Falcons came out and said they were looking at the future. That was obviously their mindset behind this pick. And with Kirk Cousins, his injury problems, I can understand that. But if you're looking at the future, assuming Michael Penix is going to sit 2 or 3 years, I mean, he's had his injuries himself. He's already 24 years old. If you're looking at that situation, why would you not take a defensive player or another offensive piece and pick up Joe Milton? I mean, Joe Milton went in the 6th round. Joe Milton, his ceiling is so, in my opinion, so much higher than Michael Penix. And just think about Joe Milton. What everybody says he needs is elite coaching. Think about Joe Milton with like 3 years of NFL coaching.
I agree to an extent, but for me, Joe Milton's a guy who, if for 7 years, every time the lights turned on, he just has not produced. And I wouldn't have taken Joe Milton in the 7th round. Me personally, some UT fans, especially some of our buddies that we text with, are going to text me and say that's a terrible take. That's fine. He deserved to get drafted, but I'm just saying, if I'm a GM, I don't want any part of him. It's same thing about almost the same thing for me for Bo Nix. I cannot believe he went top 15.
That's terrible.
Bo Nix late in the 1st, early in the 2nd, just because of his frame and his arm and his size, and he's good mobile as well. I get it, but man, top 15, that's wild. It really is wild. Yeah, I don't know. But no, I hated it.
But yeah, I was just wondering your thoughts on that. So the Raiders, Brock Bowers in the 1st round, going from the Bulldogs of Georgia to Las Vegas, over under 3 months before there's a reckless driving or a DUI.
They say 2 things about Brock Bowers. He's a stand-up guy and he doesn't talk. That's the 2 things that I learned about Brock Bowers this week. So I don't think you're going to see Brock Bowers in any trouble. Listen, this pick is the best pick in the whole entire draft. I don't understand how this is not getting talked about. 4 months ago, Brock Bowers was top 6 in every single mock draft that came out. That's not me exaggerating. Go back and look. That's a fact. Every single mock draft, he went top 6. All of a sudden, all these QB needy teams started talking about quarterbacks, and all of a sudden he's not top 6. He's not even top 10. Shoot, he's not even top 12 as he goes pick 13. This was the best player in the draft, and you got him in the 13th slot. You didn't have to give up anything to get him. You got him at 13. He's a lot top 5 in a lot of other draft classes. A lot. I cannot believe we got Brock Bowers. You can talk about whatever you want to. You can talk about neglecting needs at corner, neglecting needs on the offensive line. I do not care. I do not care. We have 2 quarterbacks who cannot succeed unless the things around them are amazing. Brock Bowers. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm sure that just destroyed your ears. Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Michael Gallup. You're surrounding your quarterback with really good weapons. I think they're going to have a chance to succeed. With Bowers and Mayer in there at tight end, you're going to have a lot of help blocking. You got an absolute dog in the 2nd round from Oregon, the center, whose name just slipped me. He's got like 3 names, I always mess it up. But he's a dog. Let me get his name pulled up. Just so I don't. Jackson Powers Johnson is his name. Beast, absolute mauler. They call that the Raiders. One of the dude who recaps Raiders draft said that was the best value in the draft was him at pick 44. Loved that pick. I think he'll actually probably get the Don to start at the offensive line for the Raiders. I think he's going to play guard. I think he'll end up starting before the season starts. So I'm only going 1st and 2nd round. Those picks for the Raiders, I love them both. Interested to see what Britt has to say about the Raiders taking Brock Bowers. But I just think it's really hard to be mad when you get what I called on this podcast a couple weeks ago, the best player in the draft. I think it's hard to be mad about getting him. And so I'm really excited. I think he's going to tear it up. I love that he said he thought he was the best tight end in the AFC West. Screw you, Travis Kelce. Brock Bowers, I can't wait to see you in the silver and black.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. I like the pick. I like Brock Bowers. Okay.
I'll say that.
Saw
Don't
that.
chill.
I saw that.
Don't the
But
shield,
yeah,
baby.
that's the draft.
Yes, that is the draft. There was only 2 rounds, obviously, because that's all we're covering.
Yeah.
So moving on, baseball. Vanderbilt has played several games of baseball. Okay, main thing to talk about with Vanderbilt, Tim Corbin. Vanderbilt fans have been highly discussing Tim Corbin. Should Tim Corbin be on the hot seat? Should Tim Corbin this, and that? Listen, Vanderbilt is 32-13. Vanderbilt is ranked top 20. Let's not act like Vanderbilt is absolutely terrible. However, I get it. I get it. What's going on? You don't like. We've been struggling. Just dropped a series to Mississippi State. First of all, I got to talk about in game 1 against Mississippi State, Bryce Cunningham threw a complete game shutout, absolute masterclass. We won 4-0, and then lost 7-4 and 7-8. Beat Tennessee Tech. Was that last night? Yeah, last night we played Tennessee Tech. 8-7, went to extras. Wings up. Britt, do you have a Tennessee Tech fishing shirt on right now, actually?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Wings up. Thank you for repping.
Yep.
I attended school there. Britt graduated from there, so is an alumni. But anyways, yeah, Vanderbilt baseball. I'm not on the Tim Corbin should be on the hot seat. He shouldn't be anywhere close. But also, for some reason, as like a sports society, Britt, tell me if you agree. We have created a culture where, like, if a coach has had major success, like Tim Corbin made it to Omaha several times, two times national title winner, like Corbin's done it all. He's seen the top of the mountain more than once. And all of a sudden, you just can't criticize those guys. Like, you could say nothing wrong. You could say nothing was wrong with Nick Saban. Like, he did nothing wrong. He's won all those national championships. He's doing something right. That doesn't mean that they can't just not be criticized. Like, they can still make mistakes, and that's okay. But Tim Corbin, when you talk anything about him, they're like, he's the greatest thing Vanderbilt's ever seen. That is true. But, like, he's too loyal. He's going to die to his own loyalty. Like, he loves some of these guys that have come through the program and have stuck with him and he's seen him grow up. And I get that. That's what Tim Corbin has done for Vanderbilt. He's built the Vandy Boys brand. They're going to come in, they're going to leave better ball players, but they're going to leave even better men. I get it. Tim Corbin doesn't like the transfer portal. He likes for guys to come in at 18 and grow with them until they're 22 and then send them to the pros. And I get that. And I get that that's hard. It's hard to switch, but you have to not be stubborn. Tim Corbin, the time to be stubborn is gone. You have to move right now, or you will end up like Nick Saban. You will be pushed out of the game because you'll be like, this just can't be done my way. Adapt or die, Mr. Corbin. Adapt or die. That's what I have to say about Vanderbilt baseball. It is time this offseason to adapt or to die. There is no other way to look at it. But when I say die, Vanderbilt's baseball team is not going to be terrible. They're never going to only win 20 games. They're never going to just win 30 games. They're going to be a top 15 to 25 team, maybe slip unranked sometimes throughout the season. They're still going to be a good baseball team. But Vanderbilt's expectation for baseball is Omaha National Championships. Omaha National Championships. If he's not meeting that, he has to go. At what point, how many years do you say that you don't make it to the Super Regional, that you get beat out in the regional? How many years is too many? You're about to be if you lose this year, it's going to be 3. So how many is too many? To me, 3 years, you don't even go to a super regional. You don't even have a chance to make it to Omaha. I'm saying we got to start asking some questions. 3 years in a row, I'm asking questions.
Yeah, that may be a little bit quick for me.
Too soon? Okay.
But I mean, he's in the same situation as several coaches like Nick Saban. Dabo Swinney has been open about not liking the transfer portal and NIL. And even just talking about adapting in general, Coach Calipari, he's a guy that's kind of stuck in his ways, but recently reset his clock. But Tim Corbin, I mean, he will adapt or he will just retire or he'll
Yeah.
get fired. I mean, that's really his only choice. But yeah, SEC baseball is, I mean, Tennessee plays Vandy.
Yep.
Not this weekend, but next weekend.
I will be there on Saturday. There is going to be Britt. You're more than welcome to come. There's actually going to be a huge tailgate on top of the 25th Avenue parking garage, hosted by my good friends at the Door Report. So excited to go see them. A little practice run for a lot too. They will, if you're a Tennessee fan,
Yeah,
they
I don't
will
want to be
invite
there.
you, but I would suggest not coming. You're just gonna get bullied. So you
I
know,
mean, I've been to some The Door Report events as undercover Tennessee fan. I mean,
Yeah.
they let me get a Dr. Pepper.
yeah. I mean, TDR, great guys. Will and Trevor, two great dudes. So swing by, see your boy. If you in the area, if you're in that Nashville area, swing by, see your boy. 25th Avenue parking garage. I will be there around 12:30. They will be there at 8 a.m. So first pitch is 2:00. So Vanderbilt before that though, they do have a series with Georgia, the Cheaters. So we are facing them this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Vanderbilt has to win the series. Like, they have to win the series. Especially if they want to host a regional, they have to win at least 2 games here. You got a tough midweek game with Louisville, and then you go 3 with number 3 Tennessee and Nashville, and then 3 at Kentucky, number 8 Kentucky. Got to find a way to win 2 of the series if you want to host a regional. This team's been terrible on the road. By the way, just to talk about our on the road versus a home record. At home, we are 25-6. On the road, we're 3-7.
Mm-hmm.
This team does not win on the road. You have to host a regional. You got to find 2 ways. You got to find ways to win 2 of these series. But I'll say this right now. It's a hard pill to swallow. I hate Tennessee. Tennessee is a better baseball team than Vanderbilt right now. Looking at it, they're just a better baseball team. Now, look, they just lost to Lipscomb.
Yeah.
Last night or 2 nights ago.
Last night, yeah.
So it's baseball. That doesn't mean Vanderbilt can't win. But I'm not looking at this series anymore saying, I think we're going to win. I think Tennessee's a better baseball team. I don't know what to think. This baseball team had me fooled preseason, I think. I thought I said on this podcast that Vanderbilt was for sure going to make it to Omaha. This team has me confused. Tim Corbin's loyalty, I think, is a huge part of it. Not playing the young guys with power. It's going to end up killing us. Because, listen, power doesn't win when you get to Omaha. It doesn't. All of a sudden, the team's hitting all the home runs. They don't hit them because the park's so much bigger. So I get it. The recipe to win it all is not necessarily all power hitters. But, hey, Coach Corbin, we got to make it there for that to matter. If you don't make it to Omaha, I don't give a piss.
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee
Making me mad.
is maybe not fair to be a comparison because I would say it's not even a question. They're the best offense in the country, but Tennessee has hit 122 home runs to Vanderbilt's 50 home runs.
Yeah.
So, I know Tennessee plays in a small park. That is a factor.
And they do. They do.
For sure. But I mean, Vanderbilt, they're sitting at 3rd in the East. Not that East and West really matters in baseball, but sitting at 11-10. They're 5 games back Kentucky and 4 games back from Tennessee. I mean, you play both of those teams.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely have a chance to right the ship here. I don't know if they will. I think you just have to be nervous about this baseball team, but I think you're playing 2 pretty much confirmed better ball clubs in Kentucky and Tennessee, and you might be able to pull 2 off against Georgia. Got to find a way to beat Louisville in the midweek, and then go see if you can't steal the series from Tennessee or Kentucky. I mean, that's the recipe. That's the only way it gets done. I don't think any way you take both of them. So try to beat Georgia. Obviously, got to beat Louisville. Win 2 series out of the 3 left and beat Louisville, and you host. And then I think Vanderbilt can make it to Omaha. If they don't host regionals, there's no chance. There's no chance if they don't host.
Yeah, it's tough.
Would totally write us off. But yeah, so that's all I can say about Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I don't have much on Tennessee. Like I said, we're just one game back from Kentucky and also Arkansas, who is at the top of the conference. Your number one batting, which you have been all year, really the last few years. But what's been a theme for Tennessee is this year, at least, is that we've got too many bats and not enough arms. But then as the year has progressed, I mean, Tennessee is sitting at third in the conference as far as ERA. You've been able to piece together guys to be good enough to win games. But yeah, I lost to Lipscomb last night. It seems like I told a buddy today, it seems like you lose one of those every year. I mean, Tennessee Tech 2 years ago. I want to say there was another team last year that beat you that had no business beating you. It may have been Tech again, honestly. That happens. You've got Florida this weekend, and then Vanderbilt on the road, and then South Carolina at home. But yeah, baseball.
I love baseball. I can't wait to go to the Hawk next Saturday. Catch my first game at the Hawk this year. I've not been able to make it out yet, so it'll be good to get out there. Basketball. Vanderbilt had Vin Allen Lubin enter the transfer portal today. Man, tough blow. Super unexpected. Birdie says that Vin Allen Lubin did not want to play the 5 any, and that's where this is coming from. Val basically said he wasn't going to play the 5 at all, and if he was going to be asked to, he was out. And if you look at a roster, he was going to be asked to. So the only way I really see this changing now is somebody who's had a head coaching change because the portal closes today. Somebody who has a head coaching change enters the portal. Maybe they get unhappy with their role, something like that, and Vanderbilt could snag a pretty good big man. Outside of that, there's not much of a chance, and then maybe you could get him back. But for the most part, this sucks. Mark Byington's still done a fabulous job. This doesn't change my opinion on what he's done. But yeah, just really sucks, honestly. Sucks to see Vin Allen Lubin in the portal.
Is that it for Vandy?
Yeah, I'm gonna have all of our commits lined up, but if you want to start with Tennessee's, by all means.
Yeah, Tennessee's outgoing. You want me to do the outgoing and then we'll.
Yep.
Okay.
That's great.
You had 4 players transfer out. Toby Awaka, DJ Jefferson, Freddie DeLeon the 5th, and Jonas Adu. Jonas Adu going to play for Coach Cal in the Arkansas Razorbacks. Freddie going to Penn State. DJ Jefferson going to Longwood. No Diddy. And Toby Awaka going to play for Arizona. So 2 guys with Awaka and Adu that, I mean, fan favorites, high producers, and it's just literally the era of college sports that we're in that they leave. But in my opinion, I'm like, if you're going to transfer from Tennessee to Arkansas, like, did you really ever love playing at Tennessee anyways, if you're willing to do that? Like, yeah, it's just disappointing.
Yeah. Vanderbilt, it's easier for me to say that every single player on Vanderbilt's roster transferred out except for J.Q. Roberts. That's it. He's the lone survivor. He's the only man left on the team. So every other player on the roster, they're gone. They left. We do not care about them. Now, about guys we brought in, we care about these guys. Chris Manning's the first one who came in, got him from, I believe it was Cornell. Rated a 4-star transfer. He's a shooting guard, 6'5", 210 pounds, great shooter, good body, good length. Was ranked 91.1 by On Sports in the portal. Next guy, another big guy, 6'7". It's gonna play probably the 4 now for Vanderbilt. Devin McLaughlin. We're gonna let the Glock sing in Memorial this year. We told Coach Byington to bring us shooters, and he brought me the Glock. So shout out Coach Byington for that. He was just short of being a 4-star transfer as well. Came up like 0.3 points short. So really close. Another great get. Best person in Vanderbilt's transfer class, Jason Edwards, going to be running the 1, was rated at a 94, so really close to being a 5-star transfer. Man, elite scorer, averaged 20 a game last year, like 7 assists, 6 rebounds. Dude was a beast. Cannot wait to see what he does. He's going to be the focal point of the offense. They're going to run fast. It's going to be fun to see him play a Memorial. Not going to be as good as Darius Garland or anything, but I think that's who he reminds me of. Quick shot, can create his own shot, can go drive in and get a bucket. He's only 6 foot tall, but he's got good moves and can shoot the lights out. Fantastic get, best get of the transfer portal for sure. Got Grant Huffman from Davidson, 6'3" white boy. You know what they brought him here to do? He's shooting the ball. So that's what he's there for. MJ Collins, another guy just short, 0.5 short of being a 4-star shooting guard. 6'4", 190 from Virginia Tech. Another great get. Tyler Nickel, Virginia Tech, 6'7", another big body, a shooter. I mean, this team just looks so much better. And the last one, the only guy I didn't say, Jalen Carey, from James Madison, who came over with Coach Byington. Looking at this transfer class overall, great stuff from Coach Byington. I hate that you're going to lose Vin Allen Lubin. This team was, I thought, going to set to have a pretty good year. If Vin Allen Lubin stayed, you're going to have to try to replace him. Get 2 guys, hopefully. Got 3 scholarships left to get guys who can impact the games. Try to go get a big body, even if you got to go to YMCA. Get me a 6'11" dude, and just tell him stay down there and try to block a shot. So go get a big body. And Coach Byington, I can't wait to see you on Saturday. I mean, next Saturday, not this Saturday. Can't wait to see you next Saturday.
Okay, incoming. Good job. Good job.
Thank
to
you. Thank you.
Incoming transfers for Tennessee. In my opinion, I think you upgraded at the 5. That is my first impression. Felix Akpara, center from Ohio State, 6'11", average 6.5 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks this season. A forward, Darlinstone Dubar. These all 3 cool names. Darlinstone Dubar from Hofstra, 6'8". The number 78 ranked transfer. He averaged 18.1 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. Solid there. And then another forward, Igor Milicic from Charlotte. Averaged 12.8 points a game, 8.5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block, 1 steal. Yeah, those are your 3 guys. We're getting, what do you call it? Culling. Like in fishing, you call it culling whenever you catch a big fish and you find your smallest fish and throw it out. Throw it back in the lake.
Get that thing.
We're cutting the fat. Listen, whenever I'm watching the Elite 8 game, Tennessee versus Purdue, and they're showing like the hype video before the game, and it's big freak Zach Edey just dominating people. I mean, just destroying people. And then for the Tennessee promo, it shows Jonas Adu with his giraffe stuffed animals. The whole story was that, they call him the giraffe, so he carries around these stuffed animals, giraffes. I'm like, we're going to get dominated. Like, we are about to get dominated. And I've said privately that over the years that I think we have some soft players, and I think Jonas Adu was just soft, honestly. I liked the guy until now. Now he's dead to me. But I don't know. It seems like Rick Barnes is going to be rejuvenated next year. We'll see. We'll see what Father Time has to say about Rick Barnes.
Football? You got football?
I don't have any football.
Okay, I do have some football. For Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt pushed a couple more guys out in the spring window here. Gotten a few more guys in. One guy was Maurice Hampton, top 100 player in the 2019 class, I believe. Got the COVID year, played a year at LSU, transferred to play baseball, I think, or step away to just focus on baseball at Memphis, and then thought that was a really bad idea, and now he's at Vandy. So I don't know much to think about him. He hasn't played football in a year. So maybe a good get. Top 100. You know, he's got, or he at least at one time was top 100 out of high school. You at least think he could be really good. We'll see what he does. But I just want to go ahead. The real reason I want to talk about football is I want to go ahead and get a hot take out there. Vanderbilt's secondary can be pretty dang good. Like a vast, huge improvement from what it has been the past 2 years. And Vanderbilt's defense as a whole, I think, takes a huge step forward this year. And I said this last year, and they have just got me believing again in this defense. I can't stop. If Vanderbilt's offense is decent, is average, and has clips of being good, I think this could be a 6-6 ball club. I'm just excited. I cannot wait for football. I just refresh 247. I'm subscribed, of course. And I just refresh it every 30 minutes at work every day, just trying to see what information I can get about Vanderbilt football. Got a tackle who just visited from Liberty, Chase Mitchell. He's a beast. I hope he comes to Vandy. Vanderbilt needs two offensive linemen before the spring portal closes. There will be plenty of time to talk about that. So won't get too much into that, but I just love football.
Yep. I also love football.
I mean, what is there not to love? But
the CTE, cheating, Alabama.
I love all of that stuff. Except for Alabama. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
well, hey, it's been real here on Where's the Line. Thank y'all so much for listening, of course. And we hope you guys simply have a great one. I don't know what I was doing.
Goodbye.